Hi, good morning, Year 6 students. Hope you are doing well at home. Today's lesson is quite a straightforward lesson that we have done in the past. Is on addition and subtraction. But looking at your past performances, there are some of you who still make very careless mistake in addition and subtraction of whole numbers. So today we are going to do a very quick review and also to complete 2 pages in your student book. Okay, first and foremost, please turn to page 40 in your student book. We're going to do a couple of exercises together and then I'll give some time for you to complete your work. So when we need to round up two numbers in using the exclamation strategy. So for this case, you are given two numbers here, 48,365 minus 15,954. So in order for us to round up to the nearest thousand, we've got to look at the two numbers here. So the first number that we have is 48,365. So the nearest thousand where we need to round up, for this case, actually to round down. So it will be 48,000 minus 15,954. And for this number to be rounded up, it will become 16,000. So from here, 48,000 minus 16,000, we can work out mentally or using the vertical method. We actually get an answer of 32,000. Another question in the text, 62,397 plus 29,458. So looking at the two numbers, in fact, the two numbers given to you, we are able to round down the numbers to give us 62,000 plus 29,000. So again, using mental calculation strategy or using the vertical addition method, you actually get an answer of 91,000. So in your exercise, whenever you need to add or subtract the two numbers, make sure you round them up to the nearest thousand, whether it's up or down to the nearest 1,000. So for this case, we have 58,327 minus 26,785. So by rounding up, rounding down 58,327 to become 58,000 and 26,785 will become 27,000. You actually get an answer of 31,000. And by doing the normal subtraction, first you work with the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousand place, and then the 10,000 place. And your answer will be 31,542. So that's how you should actually present your working in the student book. So same thing when it comes to addition. So likewise, we need to estimate the number. So for the first number here, you actually round down to get 75,000. And the second number here, you actually get to round up to become 29,000 because this figure is more than 500, isn't it? So then you have 75,000 plus 29,000. So the estimation is actually 104,000. And doing the additions again using the various columns, starting from the ones place to the tens place to hundreds place to the thousand place to the 10,000 place, you get an answer of 103,784. So moving on to the bottom part of the page, I think there's a word that maybe some of you are not very familiar. The big word is trade-in. So what is a trade-in? Trade-in is basically the price of your old car that you can sell to a car dealer when you buy a new car. For example, in the question they say, oh, the trade-in value of the old car is 13,450 and the new car price is $36,999. So the question asks, how much money must you pay in order for you to get the new car? So got to think carefully how to go about solving this problem. I think it's simple enough for most of you to answer it. Unless you have any queries, feel free to drop me a note in forum to ask me a question. Moving on to page 42, there's a second exercise that you need to do for today. So you're given a chart with the distance between two places in Australia, and the route is actually measured by road and also by air. So naturally, when you're flying, the distance is actually shorter because plane doesn't need to go through different roads. Train always travel in a straight line most of the time. So that's the reason why most of the route under air is actually shorter than the route using road. So the first question, requires you to actually find the difference between the distance by road and by air for Darwin to Alice Springs. So you look carefully in the table. Okay, the table that I have is a much simplified table compared to what you have on your student book. So look at the table carefully to get all the required information. So for this case, the road distance between Darwin and Alice Springs is actually 1,489 subtract by the air route, which is 1,307. So just using the vertical method, the difference in the distance is actually 182 kilometers. So bear in mind the importance of writing units. I think I've emphasized enough on this. It's important for you to include critical units like kilometers, kg, grams, so on and so forth. So moving on to the later part of the page, you have three pretty long word problems. Read carefully. Some questions require you to use the road information, and some questions require you to know the air route information. So for the first question, you're required to know the total distance traveled by Lenny, from Sydney to Canberra, Canberra to Melbourne, from Melbourne to Adelaide, and from Adelaide to Sydney. He must have traveled quite a long way, isn't it? So by adding up all this information given, so we can use the vertical method to add up and get you an answer of 3,077 kilometers. Okay, do check. You're working carefully. Like what I say, some of you do tend to make careless mistake. One way you can check at home is after you use the vertical method, use a calculator to counter check that your answer is correct. But again, do not over rely on your calculator. You're expected to have the skill to add and subtract without using the calculator, but the calculator can be used as a tool to help you check the answer. So please complete page 40 and 42, and if you have any queries, feel free to drop me a note.